Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan.
Do it live.
I'm
Put
Tom.
a stitch in it, Tom.
No, come on.
I am Dan. Welcome to the show, everybody. We have special guests. We'll get to them soon. Let's plug some stuff. First, twitch.tv/Tom and Dan Live. Monday through Friday, we are live, and you can catch us. I think we fire the studio up right around 10:30, and normally we record for a couple of hours, and you can watch us chat and be the first to see a lot of behind-the-scenes, crazy stuff. I was just singing a song.
Yeah, horrible.
A horrible song.
Yeah, embarrassing.
Embarrassing.
I had to look at the desk here and just stare at it while you're singing the song. I know our guests are laughing.
I could sing the part that's clean. Lips that grip.
No, come on.
Yeah.
Is that how she knows how to move? Did they, right?
No, what?
And she knows how to move.
No, that's ZZ Top. That's a. She got legs. Woo! She knows how to use them. That song, yeah.
Anyway, how you doing, Jana and Jason?
That was a pantyhose commercial, right?
That's what I meant. Yeah, she's got legs.
2 G's. 2 G's. They put them in the egg.
Oh.
Legs
Yeah,
spelled
you
like
know
eggs,
what?
but with 2 G's.
Santa Claus would bring that to me every year
2 G's?
for Christmas.
2 G's from Santa's pretty good, man. That's not bad.
No, that would always be my
pantyhose
signature gift.
My mom
that-
would get them, and my dad.
Pantyhose?
Yeah, my mom would
Yes.
get them in her stocking from my dad, and my dad would be like, "She stuffs a bush in them."
What? Oh, you got pantyhose for Christmas
I
as a kid?
What are you, old granny?
I always
Yeah,
got pantyhose. I don't know why.
I would
Is that
steal
some
the
Kansas
egg.
City farm?
That sounds like it, yeah.
Is that some farm? Like, here's some pantyhose.
Here's some pantyhose if you got
Fancy.
some funerals to go to, or if you got to make some loose leaf tea and you ain't got a tea bag, you can put it in the pantyhose and keep yourself hydrated when you're out there looking at the corn.
Yeah, like who? I feel like that's a horrible gift for a child.
Well, I would steal the eggs from my mom, and then I put like my G.I. Joes and my Care Bears or whatever in
Right?
there. You know, like
it
my.
was like the perfect little
See if
treasure.
the whole Stretch Armstrong will fit in the egg.
Yeah, it was pretty cool, but
He stretches, but does he compact?
and then you'd go to the store and you'd see them. They'd sell them in the eggs.
yeah.
I don't know if they.
And then if you
probably
lose a
don't do that.
tooth, then you could put it in the little egg.
No, I had a monogram pouch that my mom made.
Oh, wow.
I had a little needlepoint bag. It was a little bag that was made out of needlepoint material, and then somebody had needle pointed, if that's the term,
It is.
my name and a little tooth on it, like really intricate needlepoint. And when a tooth would fall out, I'd put it in the bag. This is some white privilege right here. I'd put the tooth in the bag and pull the strings and put it under my pillow, and then at night, when I woke up,
2
there'd be
Gs.
money in the bag. No, it'd be like, I'd get $1. I got the normal. I got dollars. The most I ever got is $5. That's it.
I cannot
Nothing
even
crazy.
believe that we are talking about this. So Jason and I are decluttering right now.
Yeah.
We are
Decluttering?
Yes, my parents, they sent me 8 boxes of all of my childhood memorabilia, like all of my stuff from when I was little, right?
Yeah.
And we've been going through boxes. It's been very emotional, hasn't it?
Yeah, well, and it's 8 boxes. It's not like a paper box. It's like those huge Tupperware storage bins.
Yeah, like the UPS man left 8 boxes on my doorstep, rang the doorbell,
Floor to ceiling.
and when I opened the door, there were 8 boxes, and I thought this should be illegal.
Somebody got the wrong house.
He literally left 8 boxes, and I can't leave my house now. But
No
anyway,
fire.
I was going through the boxes, and I found one of my old tooth. I found a tooth.
Cool.
Well, like it was in like
In my jewelry box. Like I found a tooth in my jewelry box.
Why do parents feel the need to give? My mom did this to me too, where she gave me the last box of childhood stuff of mine
Yes.
that she was holding on to. She's like,
There's
here,
your teeth and some old hair of
Yes.
yours.
she's like,
you
here you
filthy
go.
animal.
And then I'm like, well, you held this for you, right? I'm like,
I
but
didn't
now
say
you're giving it to me. Are you telling me you don't care anymore? Like what's the message here?
Oh.
Because I don't care.
Maybe maybe
I don't care about this
subconsciously-
garbage.
Wait, you might be queuing in on something subconsciously. What if that was, without your mother even really actively knowing she was making the decision, maybe that was the time she decided to cut you out of her life?
So what are you saying? My parents have cut me out?
Well, my
why'd
mom
they
did it
give
to
it to
me.
you
My
now?
mom tried to send me all this stuff, and there was if I'm being
There's a
real
tooth.
honest with you,
Yeah.
there was a tinge of not anger, but there was a tinge of my mother feeling as if I were using her home as a storage unit for my garbage. So when my mom, this is a true story, and so my mom, you know this, my
She
mom
was
would start
keeping it,
gifting
right?
me. She was, but then she got fed up, and you got to come get this stuff. So she started getting like, oh, you got all these die-cast cars you used to collect,
Yes!
your die-cast
she doesn't want your
motorcycles.
junk.
And she'd start giving me this
Okay,
stuff. And I
well,
was like,
that
I
was-
don't care, just put it in the trash. I don't live with you anymore. Dad's dead. I don't care.
Well, that was stuff that you could collect. I was at the house. You had the die-cast toys
Yeah,
everywhere.
but I
You
didn't
were
want it
30 years
anymore.
old.
I didn't want it anymore. So the truth be told, she was right.
No.
I was using her house, if I'm just being real.
Like a storage unit.
I was. I
Yeah.
mean, like, how can she take that any other way but that, right? So when she's asking me come get the stuff and I'm saying no, well, then I'm doing what she's saying.
Oh, my
So I
gosh.
told her to throw it all out, and she did, and then it was all fixed.
Okay, so
Then it was
this
fine.
is so ironic, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to
No, no,
interject, but
please.
that's exactly the new game that Jason and I have now come up with. So we're decluttering our house,
Mm-hmm.
and we've made this pile of all this crap that we no longer want.
Sure.
But
And so-
would easily fit in anyone else's decor kind of sneakily.
So our new game is that when we go to other people's houses,
Yes.
we try to sneak our stuff
Our
into
crap.
their house
Without them knowing or
Yes.
with them knowing?
without
No,
them
you just
knowing.
put it like
Just-
put a puzzle, like a crossword or not crossword, a jigsaw puzzle up next to the cereal boxes, so they will find it. But they'll be like, why is there a puzzle?
like, whose is
Oh,
this?
man. I love that's called living crazy. That's a new
You
one.
like that?
I like that one.
You
Like,
sneak
you
in
just
a-
come over, the people are looking through their medicine
That's-
cabinet, and
sound-
what? There's a G.I. Joe holding
Yeah.
a knife. You know, like, where did this come from?
There's
Now
a new
there's-
lamp in the
Psycho put
living
it there.
room. Where did that come from?
Yeah.
There is the garbage. I don't know if you've ever heard of.
It's not as fun though.
You're right. I guess there is a slow burn element of hiding something weird in someone's house and slowly driving them crazy because they're like, "Where'd this come from?" I do like that.
Yeah.
Although you never get
When
the
you
payoff.
when you see the post on Facebook or Instagram, they're like, "Does
Okay.
anybody know where this came from?"
Yeah.
Okay,
Then
yeah.
there's the
Then
payoff.
it's like,
Yeah.
boom, yes.
And then
So-
you write back, that's mine. Give it back, you son of a bitch. Like, you're mad at them.
Let's talk about
Like,
this.
how did you get that?
That's right.
Start gaslighting them.
Same cleaning lady.
Speaking of old stuff, so what should you? Because I've got this mental illness that I'm not attached to anything
I think it's
tangible.
Kind of good, though. I
No,
mean,
but it's weird.
we've determined through
Does it
doing
border
this.
on sociopath?
Both of ours do.
Yes.
It's
we're
in the
both
same
polar
Venn
opposites.
diagram, but I'm not a sociopath. I promise you.
That's what they all say.
Yeah, that's what they say.
Brian
also
Laundrie
lying.
said.
Fly on the fly.
I'm going to the swamp. Too soon.
Drain the swamp.
Oh my God! Don't forget your notebook.
I bet 90% is him. Anyway, and Butler's gonna
I
win
like that you
too.
say that like nobody else believes that. Tom.
Well, the other 10%.
You're not in the
The other
minority.
10%
Oh.
were eaten by pelicans.
I have this weird thing where like sentimental items don't really mean anything to me. Like I'm not sentimental about things. For instance, and this is the most bizarre thing, is both my dad's and my pop-pop's knife that he carried. They like 2 different times they gave it to me. Like, here was your dad's knife, and it was the quintessential old 80s knife that we talked about. It's
Yeah.
like brown and tan, and then it folds out. BDMs have shown me or whatever. Anyway,
Like
I
a
got
buck knife.
my grandfather's and my dad's knife that you would think that I would be like, I have no idea where they're at.
But you think that because you think society thinks you should think that. If you don't care about it, that's fine.
It's
Yeah.
not that I don't care, and that's what's the thing too. It's not like I don't.
People have conditioned you to feel like you need to care
Attach
about
feelings to things,
And you don't.
I,
In fact, it's kind
when
of
you-
a good thing
What
that
about
you
when
don't.
one of your kids brings something home and they've done an art project or it's something like that? Are you saving that at all?
I have
or
a
are you
rule
just
on
like,
that. I put in as much love to the picture as I feel she put into the drawing. So when she hands me the drawing,
Oh no.
So you
and
judge
I
it
look at it,
immediately.
I give it about 2 minutes of love because I realize that it's so crappy she only spent about 2 minutes on it.
I'm not insane.
Try it, it works.
I'll be like, oh, great. I'll hang it up. I'll put it in, and like, I'll have it there so they feel like, but it's not like it means. The act meant something, but the tangible item, like if it got lost or thrown away or whatever,
You wouldn't
I
even
didn't-
notice,
Like-
which is worse than you being sad about it.
The act of him doing it meant something. I'm not crazy. I have emotion. Like I appreciate that or whatever. But the actual thing, I'm not like building a shrine around it or like keeping it in the safe and like saying like, oh yeah, this this means so much to me. I don't know what that feeling is.
I feel like you need a good cry.
He doesn't cry. He
No,
stares
he
at
can't.
walls.
He can't.
You don't cry?
No.
Oh, Tom.
What am I gay?
yes.
There it
yes.
Wait, you don't cry?
No, he can't.
I said that
You
because
can remember
you-
Otto couldn't burp. This guy can't cry.
No. I
Same
can't.
disorder. Just Otto's is in his stomach and Tom's is in his brain.
I've done
Or
it
just as eye ducts.
a small amount of time.
We've been up all night crying, haven't we, Jason?
It's been so liberating, Thomas.
It's because of the moon.
I only cry when I
li-
69 my wife.
What?
Can't breathe.
Anyway, so
I literally cry. So on the emotional scale, I live like between. If I'm not between a 3 and 7, I'm crying. Like I cry all the time. I thought someone was pulling my headphones.
Yeah, we hit him, man. Back there.
there's a tiny person behind there.
There's a tiny man back there. If he thinks you're gonna cry, he'll start slapping.
You
you.
ever seen Snowpiercer? There's a little boy in there running everything.
I cry all the time. I actually enjoy crying, don't I?
And the tears are delicious.
So what have you guys been crying about, if I may ask?
I cried. I think it was the moon last night, this morning,
What
that
was-
was making me
Jenna will
cry.
cry in gratitude.
I literally was crying because it was so beautiful.
That's why I
wasn't
thought
it?
for sure Tom would be a crier.
No.
But,
Well, if you cry too much, does it devalue the emotion where it's just like, well, they're crying again. Well, they cry every day. So it's like, it means like if I started crying, you'd be like, oh my God.
Would you say that she's a crybaby? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm just saying
If
if
Tom
you do it too
cried,
much.
like seriously, if I walked in here and he was at his desk and he was crying,
Yeah.
I would
think his boys
probably-
died or something.
I would
Yeah,
think
yeah, yeah.
something really
really
wrong.
catastrophic.
I mean,
yeah.
even
wrong.
even
I
when
respect that worker too that came into work.
well, I can do a perfect impression of
Yeah.
finding out when Tom found out that his wife was with child. I can do a perfect. I was sitting there. Phone rings.
Oh,
and
I was mad.
Phone
and
rings. He's
scared.
like, and he goes. He picks up the phone.
I
He's
was
like,
like, what?
No.
"Hi, yeah, oh,
Oh.
yeah, are you sure? Oh, okay. Oh, okay, bye."
I just snorted.
That was when he found out she like it was literally like nothing.
Wait, she told you over the phone?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're weirdos.
Seriously?
Yeah, she had it over the phone too. I don't know how they got the baby through the receiver. It was weird.
Yeah. She told me.
Did you have sex over the phone too?
No.
Yeah. He has done that though. He
no.
told me. I've never done phone sex before because I think if you do that, you're
No,
a
yeah.
weirdo. My God, I
no
can't
emotion.
talk off. I have to see stuff.
I think I remember when one of them were conceived. But then that's it.
Well, you were like lightning.
Well, because it's not few and far between. It's like it's that like third string receiver that remembers the one touchdown.
Oh, okay.
Like
with
Julian
me-
Edelman doesn't remember all his touchdowns.
Yeah, seriously. Like with me, I don't know when's a
Kids all the
practice.
time.
I got a better life then because I don't know when's a practice and what's a game. I'm just like I'm doing it all.
I met this family once and they named their kids of where they were conceived.
That's weird.
Oh,
Texaco.
Yeah, bathroom.
No.
Also, I doubt they actually remember. Like I say that, it's like how could
How do you know for sure?
you
sure?
couldn't,
You can't.
Unless you only had
Especially
sex
when you're
once
doing it
that
so
year.
often.
Then that's true.
Yeah.
People do that.
So
Yeah, people do.
What's been going on in the Jana and Jason world? What's happening for you guys? Catch us up to date because we haven't seen you in a minute.
We are in charge of starting a flash mob.
Yep.
And we were wanting to get your advice on this. Do you guys have any?
Sure. Tom's your number one flash mob guy.
guy.
That's what
Okay.
I thought. What is your?
Well, the only thing I know about flash mobs is they were.
It sounds like something bad,
real
right?
popular in 2016.
Yeah, I think you guys may have missed the mark here.
Are they still a thing?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I mean, I didn't want to
Have
tell
you heard of planking? There's that.
Oh
Yeah.
man,
Yeah,
that's
I mean, I knew
problematic.
something was wrong when you guys came in here whistling Gangnam Style. I'm like, oh, we gotta help Grandpa and Grandma.
They're only cool. They lost their coolness because people quit doing them. That's why.
Oh, okay.
That's what my mom told me with my high water pants. She's like, that's the way that kids love them. They love them that way. I was like, I think we're just poor.
Okay, so maybe that's not a good
No,
idea.
it's a great
Well,
idea.
well,
Was it Jason's idea?
here's if you're looking for something, I do know about getting attention, right?
Oh dear.
So because that's what a flash mob is for, right? For a viral video.
We run this clubhouse room, and we have this self-development conference that's coming up.
Cool.
And this group that we run, they're all like, you know what? We should start a flash mob at the self-development conference. And of course, we're the ones that run the clubhouse room.
And I just got through watching Pitch Perfect, and I was like, that's a great idea, flash mob.
Yeah, flash mob.
So it feels like an insane amount of work and energy for not that much of a payoff, viral video wise, right? Because when you do a flash mob,
So like everybody's working, right? So like if
you
you
have
guys
to
are gonna
get
do
a
it
bunch
here,
of dancers.
yeah, you would come in here and everybody's working and doing stuff, and all of a sudden one guy's like just like walked up, he's like reading a newspaper, and he sets down his boombox and he hits play. He's like, shot through the heart, and you're to blame, right? It's like,
Well, then it's like, oh, the one guy's doing it, and then the next verse, you're like, wait a minute, 10 other people are doing it. Like, how many
and
more?
then you hands on the hamster, you're like, wait a minute, am I the only person not in on this? Right?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Is that what you
So
want to do?
it seems like you have to get like 30 different people
You're gonna
and then
need a lot of people.
practice and then
And you need a train station to do it right. Where can we find a train? You got to do it in the middle of a train station.
Well, we've got this place called Wild Horse Saloon, and that's going to be an amazing venue because we've got balconies, we've got everything. set.
Okay.
I don't know.
Next week we're running a practice run. Not this weekend, but next weekend, where we've got kids that are going to come out and collect candy from everyone and walk the streets. It's going to be really cool.
What are you being funny? I can't even tell. I can't even tell.
See, that's good.
It'll be in every
even
neighborhood
tell if
around the
you're
United
joking.
States.
I can't even tell anymore.
I want to hear more of Jana telling Jason and got old corny dad jokes because that's funny to me.
Okay, so you want to work on the flash mob. What else you got going on? I mean, are you guys speaking anywhere? Have you been?
What's up with the
Okay.
camper?
Well, we were going to bring it.
Is that
'cause
for
we're
sale?
camping
Okay,
today.
so yeah, in the middle of the night, I was having a meltdown, wasn't I, Jason?
Yeah, well, we heard about this. We also heard about the
Hunter's Moon.
like I guess fat people, like the fat people thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like the fat
Wow, we
people
got
thing.
a lot
Yeah.
of emails.
Yeah, we got a lot of email about the fat people thing. I don't even know what it's about. 'Cause,
Well,
like,
the email's like,
I don't know
hey,
what it's
you're
about
not-
because I don't talk to fat people. So
You know
what?
what?
Moly.
This shows me how wrong I am because I was for certain that you would have gotten emails from someone about it,
Yeah.
like asking you about
Too
like,
fat to email.
So I
Oh, we got emails.
I
I just deleted them immediately because I'm like, what?
I'm gonna clarify. I
Okay.
guess.
All right,
do, you,
yeah.
do you want me to address this?
Yeah,
I
I
will.
won't.
No, you don't have to.
They
but
put
look,
pressure on
our
us,
guys.
Jana,
I'm telling
and
you right
they're
now,
so
our guys are not gonna rest. They are not. They're rabid. They're
Hold
like,
on, they
"Man,
love resting.
So
They didn't email.
I feel like what I said was maybe misinterpreted, and so I'll
It
just
was taken and made into entertainment, is what was that?
I think that might have
People digested it
been
wrong.
what happened, and I actually think that maybe what I said hit a couple hot buttons.
soft spots.
And so I will clarify what I said, and I'll try to be as frank as I possibly can. But I was asked the question, do you like me better now that I am skinny? And I did not answer the question.
Yeah.
I hemmed and hawed.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I
yeah.
did
And you
not-
talked it out.
And that's a hard question. Anybody
So-
asks you that question, it's like,
so-
what are you gonna say?
Well, yeah, they're also leading you into a trap, and there's a lot of things
And
like that. I know. Well, listen, I
we
worked
know
with this
that-
guy
we know
for
that, yeah.
like 10 years.
So-
we do this.
He'll leave me.
I just-
Well, I'm like, obviously, the spikes are under the palm fronds. The whole path is clear, except for this circle of palm fronds.
So
I'm going to fall through it.
I did not answer the question. However, what I did do, because as I get older, I find that the more authentic that I can be with myself, I find the more I can show up as my best self. So if I can ask myself, what do I believe? What are my beliefs? And I do this about every area of my life. I do this about religion. I do this about health. I do this about anything in my life where I feel is a hot topic. I'll ask myself, what do I believe? Not what were my parents' beliefs? What does society believe?
What I'm supposed to
What am
believe?
I
What's PC
supposed
to
to
believe? Oh,
believe?
yeah.
Yes. What do I believe? And so what I ask myself, what do I believe when it comes to health? And what came up for me during my meditation is I believe healthy people are more energetic. I believe healthy people are more productive. I believe healthy people make better choices.
Yeah.
I believe healthy people manage their time better.
Yeah.
I believe healthy people, and then I just started writing my beliefs, my personal beliefs.
Sure.
And then I started studying my own life, and I started looking back at my own pictures, and I started looking back at my own life, and in my life, I can even see that in my life, I showed up better when I was in better physical health. And in fact, right now, as we're looking through the boxes that my parents sent, there's been a few times where I've pulled out pictures and I have said to Jason,
I'm barely surviving here.
I was barely surviving at that time. And you can tell my face is rounder. I'm a little bit plumper. I'm a little bit heavier. That being said, I also made the comment during this conversation that right now I don't feel that I'm at 100% at my fittest. I feel like I'm about 75%. And I feel that I really would like to be better when it comes to my fitness and my health. And so I just said, you know what? I think that I do believe that your health affects every aspect of your life.
Yeah. Okay.
It was way funnier when
Yeah,
all we
it was.
heard is Jana hates fat people.
Yeah, I
Yes,
like that
and
better.
it-
It was
I-
way more fun. That's more
and
We
fun.
made a lot of jokes.
Yeah, it's just way more fun that
People
way.
I
don't
feel
know.
like
You PC'd it up
Yeah,
a
let's
lot.
just go back to hating fat people.
Use healthy instead of
and I understand how the radio business works, and so
Oh, yeah.
it became that, and then of course, you know, the filters on the faces started getting bigger and fatter, and
Oh yeah, then
And
it
of
becomes
course,
at that point it's out of control.
it became a bit.
It was
Oh,
out
of course.
And I just kind of let it go.
Became a bit
And-
for us. I mean,
but here's the thing. Then I started getting, you know, people saying I can no longer follow you. I can no longer.
Oh, you got some negative.
You're a horrible
Yeah,
person.
and
All right, so
so-
I'm my
And
gauge
so
is
I
correct.
just said, okay, then that's fine. You know,
Like, I heard what you did on
but
Tom and
that's-
Dan.
but
You're a horrible
that's-
person.
well, that was to me, and I'm like, wait a minute, I'm Dan. They're like, I knew something was wrong.
And
with
here's
you.
the thing. So now, like, I mean, I try to have a sense of, like, we laugh a lot. We try to have fun because we think fun is a compass, right? It's a compass in life.
What you want to do.
Yeah.
I mean, all we
and-
ever try to do in here is to
make
try-
jokes about
is-
everything.
Is try to make jokes about
Yeah.
everything. So yeah, I can fully understand.
I take nothing serious.
Yeah,
I'll go
I
for the
don't. I'm
joke
real bad about it.
over everything, especially on the show
Yes.
or in real life, because I awkwardly divert any sort of thing into a joke.
It's
and
kind of
that's-
our writing process too. Naturally, there is a. I think if people were to witness it and you didn't know us and you were. Like when you and I are actually coming up with like a concept, like truly writing, like when it's just you and I, and we do this in the mornings and the afternoons primarily, and you'll be in here or you'll be pacing,
Yeah.
and I'm usually sitting and typing, and that's how we work. If people heard those conversations, it would not be good. Because
Also,
the things that I say to light him up or get him, like then we have like a process that we do, and it's
Sparks the
And
imagination.
the same is here. And now with cancel culture and with, I feel like sometimes people can be a little bit overly sensitive.
And they want
Yeah.
to run with the crowd. So even if it's not ultimately offensive to to one person, they're like, well, this crowd thinks it's offensive, so I'm just going to run with that. And
Yeah. And I do disagree with one point someone made, I think, because I think people would just get their feelings hurt or something because they like you, Jana. You know, obviously, they've always liked you, and they, so like when you say something that hurts people's feelings, immediately they feel betrayed or something, but you didn't say that. I say this all the time. You didn't say that to hurt that person's feelings. You said what you were feeling at the time and being probably overly honest on a like a public forum like the radio, but that's how you are. And what you say is like, I'm working it out, I'm talking it out. I look back at the clip because I was like, first I was like, no way she said that.
Yeah, no, I
and then
said
I looked
it.
at it, I'm like,
I feel like
She's saying
fit people are more successful.
Yeah.
Fit people,
And then that's when people get mad about, insulted and stuff. But I'm like, the one claim I will say that has to be false is they're like, well, Jana's fake because she's saying that and she's supposed to be all about positivity. I'm like, well, she's saying
never
how
said
she
she's all about
feels
positivity.
honestly, and she's working it out and she's being honest. So if anything, she's being more real than most people that wouldn't say how they feel because they're afraid to hurt people's feelings.
well, that's
So it's like if you're
I can see that
if
too.
you're constantly afraid to hurt everybody's feelings, then you're not really being real because you're constantly holding your tongue because you're like, oh, I shouldn't say that, shouldn't say that. So what are you saying? You're saying maybe a truth, but a truth that's going through a filter of I don't want to say anything that hurts anybody's feelings. So then on the other side of that, you get what you see on the news. It's just a talking head if someone's just telling you things, or like anybody like Good Morning America, listen to those people talk. They'll never say anything that even on the brink of real talk because they're so afraid of getting attacked nowadays.
culture.
It's so easy to get attacked because 10 people on Twitter it seems like a lot when you only get a couple tweets a day. All of a sudden 10 people are saying, you're like, oh my God, it's technically only 10 people, but it seems like way more.
I would agree with that.
And then also, people like attacking people. I don't know why. It's a bizarre thing. It's like people want to attack.
I mean, so I find that I'm going through, as we are finding who our people are, like as we are speaking more and more, I used to think you had to know who your audience was. I used to think that was public speaking 101, know your audience. And then as more and more mediums started to pop up of podcasts and different forums, they're now social media, everybody can be a speaker, right? Everybody can have a platform, everybody can have an audience. So then I started thinking, no, it's more about let your audience know who you are, right? It's not about knowing your audience, it's letting your audience know who you are. Well, now I think I need to know who I am. I'm at that stage. I feel like I need to know who I am. So it's really, what do I believe? What do I believe? What do I want? Why? Why do I want it? What do I need to do to get it? And who do I need to become in order to achieve it? Those are the 5 questions. And I think if you can answer those 5 questions, then you're going to go to that next level. But I think the first question is, what do I believe? And you know what's really surprising me is when it comes to religion, spirituality, faith, those questions, when I start asking myself those questions, the answers that are starting to come to me, if you just be still and listen to that inner voice, I think we all have a voice inside us. And yeah, that voice has been shaped by our previous experiences. That voice is shaped by our parents' beliefs. Sometimes I've been noticing there's things that come up, limiting beliefs. A lot of times I feel I'm not good enough. That's a limiting belief that I feel a lot. And I'm like, where's that coming from? Why do I feel that? I don't even think it's my limiting belief. I think it's my mom's limiting belief that I have inherited somehow.
Okay.
So a lot of times I think we inherit these beliefs. When it comes to religion, I'm like, why?
Tom has COVID.
when it
fine.
comes to
You're good, Pat.
religion,
It's no big deal. I know you feel the same way.
so many times.
Just based on the
I mean,
fact
be honest,
comments,
it's
I
only
know how you feel.
it's only got to affect fat
I
people
know.
literally.
My truck just turned
Underlying.
on.
Yeah, they got underlying conditions.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm getting kind of
Sorry.
deep and serious.
No, you're fine.
have to go, Joe.
I looked at
like,
my joke clock.
Joe!
I looked at my joke clock, and I was like, "Oh my god, I'm 2 minutes late."
And we do know our audience, and it's full of fat people. That's why I love fat people. I think they're healthier. I think they work harder than
Smarter.
fit people. I think they're
And
braver.
I don't love them, but I say I do.
They're definitely braver because they don't care about dying. I made both sides laugh. Sorry.
Fat guy says what?
And I think when
Is that
you
what we become?
when you realize what's offending you, then you can take a look and see, is that offending me because that is me? Or
Oh yeah,
is it,
that's a mean one right there.
well,
yeah.
that's huge. That's what I'm finding. Whenever someone hurts my feelings, it's because it's true, or I thought it was true at one time, or I needed to work past something, and that's.
Well,
That's
what's
just a
weird is
crazy
I find
thing.
the most people, even like the people that were mad at you for saying that, they weren't fat. Like they were offended and mad because you said something about, a person that they weren't, which I find odd too. Because again, I don't have many feelings, but I've
But
never
the ones that you have are fat. I will say that. He's not the
Well,
fattest feelings
I've
of
never got
anybody I've ever met.
offended for someone else.
So I never want to intentionally offend anyone, and these beliefs, I'm just telling you what is coming up for me. I'm not saying that these are true. I'm just saying that these we all have biases, and we all see the world through a perspective. We all see the world through a perspective. And these were just the beliefs that were coming up for me during my meditation.
Yeah, and you're like, and you're not even saying this is what I'll always believe. You're like, this is what I believe now. I think so, and wonder why I believe that.
And
maybe
there's very
it's
few-
wrong
If
to
you're
think that.
It
And there's
could
few
be wrong.
absolutes.
And,
Very few
And
absolutes.
here's the thing. So now that this is brought to my attention, and now that I know it offends people, I can now rewire this. I can now change this. It's almost like software in a computer. I can change this.
Neuroplasticity.
Well,
I'm
Thank
doing it
you.
right
Well,
now. Yeah.
Thank you.
Jana, I think this is too advanced for where we're at now. And what I mean by that is like you're trying to have an honest conversation with people. Like, why do I think this way? Have a conversation with me, and people are too quick to be like, "Oh, she said that." The cancel
phone.
again. Like, no more. Done. I'm never. It's like, why can't you have an honest conversation with people that are upset by how you feel? And then because you want that, you've always wanted like, tell me your feelings on why I feel this way, and maybe that'll get me to feel a different way.
And I'll tell you
Which
why.
everybody should do.
I'll tell you why I've felt this way is I look back at my life and the times when I was unfit, I was unhappy. I was emotionally a wreck. I was making terrible grades. I was making less money. I was a mess.
And that happens to people. Yeah, there are people that correct those sort of aspects of their life, and it does correct not every, but more than just the physical sufferings you might be.
But a lot of times
having.
when people look at self-improvement, what's the first thing they go to is fitness. That's almost 100. That's usually the first thing people will go to is self-improvement. I'm going to start exercising.
Because
New
it's
Year's
tangible.
resolutions. I'm going to cut this out of my diet. So there's something that people just aren't being honest with themselves about when they say, "Oh, I'm happy being this way," or "I'm like sugar for me. I can't get enough."
Based on BMI, which one of the Tom and Dan staff do you like the most? Seriously. I think it's me. I'm just going to think me because even though I think I'm the doughiest just based on my size, I think I'm also the cutest. And I think you guys I think you love me the most. Way more than this guy. Because he lost,
He has
I'm
no
telling you right now,
emotions.
he lost all that weight. He became a dickhead.
Well,
Because he feels better about himself.
Yeah, too confident.
there's a lot of things now where you see someone and their behaviors or what they said and emails or all this stuff, right? And then obviously they get in trouble for it. But there's a lot of society that are like, well, wait a minute, I've made those jokes, I've done those emails, I've, so like, and they're like, well, I'm not a bad person. I really think, and then you create this divide and these people where they should just have conversations of like, why does John Gruden feel that way? I mean, you can put, he's evil. He's just like, he is an evil person at heart. Right. And then it's like, probably, I don't know, John Gruden. I have no idea. He could be that. Or it could be more complicated than that, or it could be because that was a culture he grew up in.
It's typically more complicated than that.
Yeah, everything's more complicated. And then but instead of having a conversation about it, or like, why do people think this, or why do people have these stereotypes in their heads, or feel these biases, or grow up this way? Like I grew up to feel that like emotions were a weakness. So, from the males in my family or whatever, like that probably definitely indoctrinated me to.
And the first instrument I played was flute.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like if I think that way, why do I think that way? And having a conversation about it instead of like immediately.
During my depression, I gained 35 pounds. I hated myself. I avoided a camera for 2 years. We have a 2-year span where I don't have a picture of myself. I avoided mirrors. I wouldn't look at a mirror. We covered the mirrors. I hated looking at myself. My dad was an athlete. So like I remember
it's built in here somewhere,
growing up, like he took pride in our athletic achievements. He took pride in it was something about us growing up. So like there's something in the wiring, in the hardwire too.
Yeah. And then that's where everybody, like you start to have these conversations. It gets super complicated when you do it publicly. Because then
everybody's got an opinion, and they shoulda, coulda, woulda. You should have said this,
and they're taking it like
they're taking it with their filter. And then the other thing they're doing is they're anticipating, and you and I do this in business situations. They're digesting what, and I don't mean that way. What you say, they're using their filter to consume it, and then what they're doing next is anticipating what they think you're saying next, or what you mean by it, which you may not. But depending on what filter I have on it I do it all the time with listeners. I do. Where they may just say something, and it may not even be relatively that negative, but I take it, I digest it, and I'm so emotional, I'm so sensitive that obviously it's a bad thing.
It's easier to just put like Jana Banana hates fat people. Like,
but that's not what I said.
No, of course
that's not what I said.
I know, but that's what it boils down to when people hear it and then they tell us, like, did you hear Jana?
It had nothing to do with inclusion or with whether or not I accepted them or like even myself, And the other thing is now that I'm aware of it, I never want to hurt anyone. Now that, I know this about myself, I will change, when you know better, you do better.
Yeah, and anyway, it was one of these things that it got presented to us, and then
you're looking a little chubby today.
In a way that I was like, well, that doesn't sound right.
Yeah, no.
And then I'm like,
because it was presented inaccurately.
And then, then I saw the first. I'm like,
well,
pretty right. I was like, pretty. It was farther than I thought. Then I laughed, and I was like, can't laugh. And then I'm like, how do I?
And then I was like,
Daniel brought up, I was like, no, you idiot.
Yeah, I was like, is there anything to this? And I grab my phone, I scroll, I type in who makes more money, skinny or fat people. Then I find some study where they say skinny people make $2,500 more a year. I'm like, well, I gotta close that tab out. Can't talk about that.
Anyway, it's hard because nowadays, I think everybody takes things emotionally first.
How can I not?
And
it's who I am.
It's
right?
why.
Plus, you have to counteract the lack of emotion. So
I'm emotioning for two.
You are, because when you work with people, you're going to have these dynamics, and certain voids have to be filled. So if Tom has less emotion, someone in here is going to have to fill more emotion.
Yeah, it's like a yin yang.
Yeah,
so someone's
just like
got
in a relationship.
So if you work with a sociopath,
I'm not a.
You need to wear a bulletproof
I have
vest.
the correct amount
then
of
you have
emotion.
to become a premenstrual.
Well, how
me.
emotional are you supposed to get? Let's talk about that.
I'm the most emotional.
Because I'll get emotional during in what I deem appropriate emotional scenarios. Like, but it takes a lot to move the needle. That's all I'm saying. It's like I'm not getting emotional about anybody saying anything. I'm not getting emotional about anybody making
Like,
jokes.
a
or
butterfly landing on a baby pig's nose is not going to tear
no,
you up.
listeners saying something about me or nothing really moves the needle. My kids, my
I don't
wife.
even think you have a needle.
No, my kids and my wife can move the needle. Like Max the other day, got me good because like if there was a small period of time where he just wanted to play with Tommy, and then I was going to play Monster, and then he was like, nah, we don't want to play Monster, and then Tommy had to pull me aside and be like, Max doesn't. Sometimes you play a little too rough, and like
Yeah, he doesn't really like you that much.
it is. He wants to do
He kind
this.
of wants a new dad.
Like it was the first time that they weren't excited to play with me.
he likes it
and
when Javier the
beginning
Roofer
of the
comes
end.
by.
stabbed my heart.
Yeah.
That's and so that I didn't cry about it because
The chat room-
You just brought it up on here. To
The
cry
chat
about it.
room's laughing at the idea of your son pulling you aside. That is pretty funny.
Tommy didn't want to hurt my feelings.
Tommy's like, hey, get over here. Hey, get up. I got
Tommy's
time.
like me, he doesn't want to hurt people's feelings, which is another thing too. I
Oh,
don't
he's
want to
sweet.
hurt people's
I don't
feelings.
either.
He's
I
a
don't
sweet
either.
boy.
So now I'm feeling like a turd right now.
Nah.
So if I've hurt
hey,
anyone's
at least
feelings,
you're not a fat turd. That's what I was saying.
They'll make less money.
Yeah, but skinny turds could be cancer. Could be cancer because you could have some blockage back there. or something.
right,
That's what I've heard. If it's pencil thin, go to the
You're
doctor.
right.
Pencil.
Fat turds actually are a
It's
sign
healthier.
of health.
It is a sign of health.
Or
But you don't want them floating.
Or
If
a
you're
big
floating, there's
butthole.
too much
Oh,
mucus
yeah.
and air in them.
No, you gotta have a sinker.
You gotta have a sinker. And if it's pencil thin, you
Mine
probably
just
have a
floats
tumor.
in the center of the bowl, like halfway down, halfway.
I don't know if we're allowed to do this.
That's called the
dear.
abyss. So, all right. So
gotta get
I'm
out
done
of
with that. Oh, we gotta get out.
Yeah, we gotta get
Oh
out.
yeah, that's, yeah.
Where were you gonna
That's a
transition?
full
And
night.
part 3.
No, I was gonna go to a lighter, jokey.
How do you feel about abortion?
Yeah, he's like, bring in the fat people.
We didn't even
Give
get
me
to the
my
fun
grease
stuff.
pencil, Howard Stern.
We'll end with this. Will you race a listener of ours that got most offended by your comments? We called him.
Chungus Glorioso.
Yeah. He's a big gentleman. Because how fast can you get your wheelchair up
Oh,
there?
no.
Pretty fast.
no.
I'm just doing the
Where
radio.
are we
Going
gonna
uphill or downhill?
No, oh, you're right.
Ah, that's funny.
You ever seen the guys that run after
If
the
it's
cheese?
uphill, I have a feeling you will be $2,500 more successful.
We're joking. Anyway, Jana, Jason.
Thank you guys.
Thank you guys for coming in. We appreciate
You're
it.
fabulous.
Hopefully that wasn't weird. I really
Fabulous.
wasn't trying to make that weird. I just know they're not going to let us off the hook if we don't say something about it.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
getting impatient. It was like, halfway through, they're like, well, I'm like, well, hold on a second. That's
It's
not
like,
what
do
we
you want
do
to
around
bring up?
here.
Yeah. Also, it's like it's a huge controversy or something.
No,
like,
because you guys told them you were going to bring it up. That's why they were
Oh,
asking.
why are you saying that?
No, we said we might.
Well, you're giving my chat peeps some guff.
We
I guess
said
that's
we
it.
might.
We're teasing them.
Oh.
Next month.
Jana and Jason show on YouTube, on Facebook. Check it out. Living Lucky.
StartLivingLucky.com.
Oh.
Why did I start plugging it? I don't know.
You're like, I freaked it out. You freaked it out.
It is
I'm an
Living
idiot.
Lucky, but it's StartLivingLucky.com.
Perfect.
There
Perfect.
you go.
All right. We'll see you guys next week.
Thank you so much.
Welcome back to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Let's jump into voicemail email, which has become like sort of my favorite segment to do because I really like to hear from the listeners. I like the creativity, and it's like the easiest thing that we do.
Yeah.
You don't have to jot anything down. You don't have to like watch and keep up, with like current television, which I'm real bad about, but I've been doing better. I've been watching the Squid Game.
Yeah.
I've been watching the Dancing with the Stars. I've cut back on my QVC. I've cut back on my jewelry TV.
Who's on old Dancing with the Stars now?
The only reason I'm watching it is because Cody Rigsby from Peloton is one of the dancers. And he is an excellent, flamboyantly gay instructor, ex-dancer, and fitness guru. And he's funny. He's the funniest instructor. He's like almost like a comedian. Like his rides are good because he's all over the place.
It's weird because I know how hard it is to dance. I can't do it myself, so I should
Phil Collins.
appreciate it more. But for whatever reason, dancing isn't that impressive to me. I don't know. That's how I feel inside.
Is it in your core? Is it in your
my
core?
core.
This is how I feel. It's in my.
One day I'll hit a bunch of emails like, I heard you don't like dancing. I'm like, I'm sorry. I just don't like moving in a rhythmic like fashion. That's the healthier fat. All right.
Dancing the foxtrot. No, so I've been watching that. It's pretty good, but it's all ballroom dancing, which is hard because you're holding frame.
I just don't appreciate it. Like,
what do you appreciate?
Yeah, I don't even know.
Because Sam and I had a moment. We had a side-eye hoedown where we went, deet, deet, and then we both were like, what does he appreciate? That's what you were thinking,
I ask
right?
myself that every day.
I ask myself that too. Like, I don't know what I
asked
do.
why he's alive last week because I don't know what brings him joy in life besides his children, which now they're turning on him. So
yeah, I know.
He's about to lose that.
Look, Max better watch his steps because he's literally the doghouse.
That was a
he's
small-
back.
Yeah,
He's back.
Yeah.
Tommy probably took him aside and was like, "Look, just
gonna have to
try
act
and
like
make
you're
Daddy
back."
feel better. Pretend like you like
Tommy's
him."
a genius. He's in there.
He's the goddamn mediator of that family.
He's the puppet master.
Well, Max is more like he's sensitive. He's emotional. So my person
Better in bed.
So he and Crystal get along more. They're both
emotional.
emotional.
Yeah.
And so it's harder for me to communicate with Max emotionally if he needs that. Like Crystal
Just
can do it.
bring him in here on the mic and start yelling at him.
After you bitch.
I mean, it was queued up, and I heard her literally cock it. You not hearing that?
I'm trying to ruin the show.
No, it's making the show better. I love it.
So
What moves the needle for you that's impressive? Because there's nothing
Dude,
that I've done in
almost
11 years of working here that I've ever looked into your eyes and thought that you've been
His
impressed.
needle's dead.
I don't tell. That's a
He needs
problem.
Viagra for his
Have you,
needle.
I'm impressed by
have you
everything
ever
you do.
been proud of me, Daddy?
Yeah, I'm impressed. I'm impressed by every song you make, every joke that you come up with fast.
Yeah, but you always just go, pretty good.
Yeah, it does. It does. She knows. She's seen it.
I'm bad
Oh
at
my God,
compliments.
you're like my mom that doesn't care, and you just watch my dad not compliment me.
Well, yeah.
What's
It's like-
Butler?
Hey,
He's
you
the
guys
good
are the
one.
bosses. I'm just paid to sit here and take
Butler's
notes.
the good one. Butler's the good one. I should have stuck up for him yesterday when you were being mean to him.
It's like my wife, and like she constantly tells me, all you have to do is like compliment me, like tell me my hair looks.
You know, your
good.
wife told me something that should chill your boots.
Like tell me why you love me every once in a while.
Your wife
Oh.
told me I compliment her more than you do.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No.
And
Everybody.
then I
does.
said to her, I was like, "Can I
My
suck your
sons
tits?"
do.
I'm sorry, Sam. I have to cut that out.
So I'm just bad at doing that, and it seems like such a simple thing to do. Dude, I walked by Samantha and Travis.
And you
on the
said,
way to-
nice ass. I heard you say that to
Wait a
Sam.
minute.
And I'm like, do that to your wife, and your marriage will work.
and I didn't even see them.
He told me I was getting a little fat.
Like, something I don't like. Something's
Something's weird about you. Where's my wheelchair? I can't control it. At this point, I'm like an X-Men, and the powers are... You remember when Cyclops, he shoot the lasers out of his eyes? This was early on X-Men. I think this was the X-Men number 4 I had. And then Professor Xavier X, Professor X, he's like, yo, you got to wear some glasses on your laser eyes because you're burning everything. You're killing cities.
Yeah. You can't
So he
control
gives him a pair of these little red, they're all red. Like they look like LMFAO, like party up glass, or like
You're like a Reading Rainbow Star
my
Trek.
Hold on, that's racist. Calling it Reading Rainbow
Yeah.
is as racist as
It's
it
like
comes.
that same thing when you were
Butler,
saying
bring in the
Frozone was
racist
because he had
gong.
an
We gotta hit the
afro.
racist gong.
No, that was a misspeak.
In your core, you believe it should have been called Reading Rainbow.
That's a presto.
Yeah, we brought it back around. Let's do some voicemails. Let's do some emails, but let's start with emails so I can pull up the voicemails.
All right. Andrea's grocery plan.
Oh, this might be. Now, before you poo-poo it, I'm serious. This might be. You're always liking passive money. Diversify within T&D Media. This
Okay.
is our next arm of the company. Okay, sorry.
Hey, Dan, this is something that I know myself and probably a ton of other BDMs would pay for a plan or just a copy of what she does. I mean, $5 to $10 a month, people would totally pay. If she did a quick audio or video overview of what she does, it would be amazing. Her organization skills and her organization skills people would pay for, even if it's just a quick subscription email blog post. Being a dad and my wife working, I get not wanting another thing on the plate, but people would definitely pay for an email of just a photocopy of her shopping plan. Thanks for all the entertainment and joy you guys bring every day.
Dude, PDF with recipes. Because I got it.
And then he says, P.S.
I got it.
You all could do your own masterclass. Tom for boating, Sam for Disney, Dan for video games, music, drumming, editing, etc.
Oh, I like how mine.
And left Butler off completely.
Well, that's pretty accurate. Except for I couldn't teach anybody anything about boating.
Yeah.
So my wife does this detailed 3 weeks grocery list, and then she submits it to Kroger online, and then the truck pulls up with like 40 bags, and we stash it all in the house, and then I know what I'm eating tonight.
Dude, I had a revelation that I'm like, man, if Andrea did like even a once a week podcast about being organized and what she does and like helping people, I'm like, that's like the organized mom or something like that.
That is a genre.
But we're already doing this plan.
Yeah. The only, and I'm not poo-pooing on anything.
No, it's fine.
If she wants to do it, I will. Like, I'd love to pay for it to get edited and released under TND Media's umbrella, and I think we can get rich. Although, if I was her, I would be like, well, I'm just gonna release it. My husband knows how to release it. You
saw him on the list. He has 16 things under his name.
Yeah, I'll just release it myself. Why are you getting any piece of anyway? But here's the only problem I see with it is because anything in life I've ever like seen someone do that's impressive or whatever, that I'm like, oh my God, this person's really good at whatever. It all boils down to hard work.
Yeah.
And so it's not a secret. It's not any sort of like
sell the secret.
Like a thing that like, oh, it's as easy as this, and like, oh my God, I could change my life in one simple act. They're like, no, Andrea puts the hard ass work into it, and just like Seth and his diet, right?
So I don't know. I saw that diet plan.
That's
he
too
sent
hard.
me that PDF.
Yeah,
it's too hard.
So it's like,
my God, and I don't even know where you find almond flour.
Yeah, it's like that's what it takes to look like Seth. Hard ass work and eating seeds and
Oh
S.
man, he's all worried
And
about his
hypochondria.
antibodies.
So
Worse than ever. He's worse than he's ever been.
Andrea takes the time to write out a detailed grocery list and color code it and put it on an Excel spreadsheet and stuff like that. All takes hard ass work.
Yeah.
So it's not
It's
a secret.
not hard for her though. That's the weird thing.
Even if it comes easier to him or to her.
How dare you misgender her? Do you feel that in your core?
I was gonna make the example of like a super talented, gifted wide receiver, where it's like, yeah, it's easy for him to, like it comes easier to him because he's.
But it's still time consuming.
6'4" and he's ripped and he's got good genetics and a good hand-eye coordination. Like, so you're like, oh, it's easy for him. Like, nah. That guy hard ass work. So yeah,
I didn't think about that.
It comes easier to him, and Andrea is naturally
She's wired for
organized
that.
and she's wired for it. Yep. But it's still hard ass work. And if she explained to me,
and she's got OCD to some degree.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
there's that. You know what's funny
is
that's
we've been-
genetics.
but it works in her favor.
Yeah, and we've been digging in therapy-wise. I mean, I've told this to the listeners, but just to remind you, I mean, we're real weirdos. I mean, we don't have the same bank account, but we do have the same therapist. And our therapist can twine our stories. Like I don't go there to hide anything from her and vice versa. But like we've been working on that, and it's funny because she does have OCD, and there are parts of our OCD that are attractive to each other. You know what I mean? Like that are complementary, where it's like we both like having things this way, and it works. So there is an element of an attraction there. It's very interesting.
Now, I'm sure there's tips and tricks she could share that little, loopholes and things that make things easier for her, like that people could actually use, and that's where it does become valuable. But when you boil it down to the core, it's just she works harder to keep everything organized than the rest of us. And that's it. Like, there's no secret to it. It's like she spends more time organizing her life than the rest of us do.
Yeah, most of her life is organizing.
Yeah, that's.
Well, most of her life is organizing my life.
Yeah.
Checking into the Twitch chat room, EJ says, I don't want to look like Seth if I have to be that anxiety driven. And I say to you, EJ, don't worry about it.
And there's plenty of people that look like Seth that don't have hypochondria and that don't have anxiety. Like
Yeah.
Seth's an individual human,
Yeah.
and everybody's different. Like, you know, so but that's what makes his character interesting to me, and why we bring him on the show because
that's
he's
the comedy, right?
he's this MMA fighter that's ripped as a douche
Wait,
bro.
I can't be the only one laughing at him, right?
And his anxiety and hypochondria is so like
I thought that was a joke.
he's got the anxiety and hypochondria of Woody Allen, but he looks like
Jason Statham.
Yeah. So
I mean, he literally it looks like the transporter, and he is Woody Allen.
Yeah.
And
The pedophile?
No, Woody Allen actually.
I mean, the Venn diagram is dating a 22-year-old. If he was dating a grandma,
Man,
then I'd be
today's
like,
bad.
well, he's farther.
I would say
Hold on.
that-
I'm not saying he's a pedophile, but I'm saying if he was dating an older woman, I would say he's farther from a pedophile than he is now, right?
Can't deny that.
Like, he doesn't want younger than 18,
Andrea, put it on the meal plan.
but he wants younger.
Okay,
So,
hold
well,
on. When's the last time you guys drank from a 2-liter?
Oh,
I
God.
talked about this when I went to Tuttle Steel for his dad. We have a caller chiming in here.
Hey guys, BDM Justin here, whose account is always up to date and would never dream of paying less than the original $3 because I'm not a poro. On the topic of 2-liter soda, I'm wondering where I missed the transition within society, or maybe I'm just oblivious to soda trends, because buying 2 liters is almost always the best financial decision when it comes to soda, unless you're buying a BOGO sale on cans or something. I mean, I just assumed everyone always just bought 2 liters, unless you're having a party. It made more sense to have a bunch of canned options for people.
No way.
Guess I missed the mark on this one, but I'd be interested to see what the BDM's general preference on their soda format selection is. Just thought I'd throw it out there. Talk to you later. Sucking the suck.
Nope, gotcha.
Got him.
Gotcha.
No, dude. No way.
see, I grew up with
They
2
go
liters.
flatter quicker.
I
Yeah,
grew
so
up-
did I.
I grew up with 2 liters,
It's a
too.
poor thing.
Yeah.
We were
Like,
all Florida trash people. So
Yeah.
Florida trash people drink 2 liters. Raise your hand if you had 2 liters in your house. Yep. Butler, 2 liters in Virginia.
You know how excited I was when I went to Georgia and I found out they had 3 liters?
Oh, well, we had those,
Now,
but it was only
It was
Bubba.
like Big Red.
I don't do it anymore,
Bubba
though.
Cola came in a 3-liter.
Like, I don't buy 2 liters anymore
No.
because I'm like, I shouldn't drink this much soda. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I buy 2 liters of soda. I just buy it in 16-ounce quantities.
individual.
Yeah, I do. Like, I drink 2 16-ounce Diet Mountain Dews every day of my life till I die.
It would be better, and I do this a lot, and it's kind of a form.
I've never vocalized that before, and I think I need to sit down again and really reevaluate my life.
I got off of the damn Diet Mountain
I
Dew
can't.
because of my throat. I thought it would help. It still hasn't helped.
I can't get off of it,
But I
man.
think it's
am-
made a little better.
This is more addicting to me than almost anything I've ever put in my body, I believe.
But why don't you get 2 liters? Why do you
Oh,
think
I
you
will.
moved away from 2 liters
Well,
in life, I mean?
Because I think
They go flat too
That's
fast.
my thing.
they go flat, and there's a thing in life, and I do this, where I don't want to admit that I
Drink
am
soda?
going to consume as much. I do it with White Claw, right? Like, why don't I just buy 30 12-packs of White Claw when I go to the
God
store?
damn.
You know what I'm saying?
People
Just-
will see you by 30.
Like, this guy
Well-
has a problem.
well-
Yeah, that's exactly what happens.
or like,
That's why teachers buy their vodka one handle at a time in the morning, because they don't want people to see it.
no, you just ABC delivery, that's it.
but even ABC delivery. So even if you take the shame out of buying that
And then
much alcohol,
when they hand you
like-
your box, you're like, having a party this weekend.
exactly,
That's what I do.
But I'm not even like, I can't tell myself like that I'm going to, because logically, and it is a 100% fact that I will drink this much White Claw in, let's say, a month's time or whatever it is, not 30 12-packs, but whatever it is, a lot. And then, but I should just buy it once a month. It'll
Right.
save me going to the store every 3 days to buy a new 12-pack of White
Yeah.
Claw. So I should do that. But in my mind, I'm like, just get this one more. It's all that one more. Same thing with drinking. I do this all the time.
I do it
like,
with
I'll
6-packs. I'll buy like a 6-pack. A 6-pack. A 6-pack. I should have just bought a suitcase of beer.
Yes, because you're.
I do that. Yeah, I'm not doing the 6-pack thing.
You're-
Who am I lying to? Myself? I know what's going on.
It's a weird
I
thing.
am
You're-
100% lying to myself.
I lie to myself all the
Yeah,
time.
we
And I
lie
think
to
a
ourselves.
lot of people lie to themselves.
Hold on, let me. I want to.
Like
I
you
want to
buy-
burn this into your brain. Your bosses lie to themselves.
and others.
I think most people do, and the fact that it's like you don't want to admit
You're
to
wasting
yourself.
so much money.
It is, yeah. But
Yeah, but not in my mind. In my mind, there's a little bit of peace knowing that I consume 8 6-packs a day, not a full double 18-pack.
And it's like buying that 2 liter of Diet Mountain Dew. It's like, it's like too much dew. Like, you know it. So, but you'll buy a 16 ounce every day, which it would have been cheaper to buy the 2 liter. But every day is easier with the 16 ounce than that one day of the 2 liter.
Now, I want to bring something up that I heard as a child at church. We had a particular family that went to my mom's church in DeLand called Trinity United Methodist Church. Still there. Great church. And the lady, this lady was, we're going to like the, I still remember this. Fun fact. It all happened together. We're in the fellowship hall, and she was recanting a story about how her old cat had laid where the garage door comes all the way down to the cement, and the garage door had chopped its neck and killed it. So when they came home, they just saw their cat with its head sticking out of the garage. They had to open the garage, and there it was, dead. It had crushed its esophagus. In between sharing that story, she was setting up the fellowship hall for some sort of potluck church dinner and was putting out the 2 liters. And I poured myself, I'm assuming, a cup of regular Mountain Dew, because a young man. It's a young man's game. And when I put the 2 liter back and put the top on it, the lady then proceeded to scold me for not indenting the 2 liter and then putting the top on it as I pushed in the side. She swore to me, this lady who had a dead cat, she swore to me that by indenting the side of the 2 liter, by impressing into the plastic, you push out air and then you put the top on. She said, by doing that, you are saving more carbonation. Is that true? I've known that for, let's say,
That sounds
35
insane.
years. 35 years, I believe that.
I get her logic. The only problem is I believe the science doesn't back that up because
But in her core, she believes it, so that's all that matters.
the carbonation will fill the air void to a certain point where it gets the pressure to the point where it no longer
Okay,
releases.
Tracy's heard that as well. I knew other people had heard that. Everybody's got these little things. Oh, you got to do it like this, you got to do it like that.
Yeah, but it's like an old wives' tale
That's
type
what
of
I
thing.
think it is. I don't think it does anything.
I think it may save a tiny minuscule amount of carbonation.
It's like turning your air off in your car when your car's on E.
Yes, yeah.
You know, people say,
pointless.
People say, you got to turn that off. You got to turn that off.
Yeah.
It's like the same thing. I don't think it does anything.
Mythbusters did this at a racetrack one time, and I think they got like maybe extra small amount of time where it's like
38 seconds or something.
I think it's actually maybe a little longer than that, but if I remember correctly,
According to
No.
According to this Food Hacks website, it's true.
yeah, but by how much? If it's
It says it may not be, because there are other methods, but it says it may not be the prettiest method, but it definitely does a trick. After you pour some soda, maybe around 60% out of the bottle, you can squeeze the bottle to remove as much excess air as you can. And why does it help? It's all about Henry's law, which states that at a constant temperature, the amount of a given gas that dissolves in a given type and volume of liquid is directly proportional to the partial pressure of that gas in equilibrium with that liquid.
Interesting.
so
So it works.
So you're achieving an equilibrium.
So
Hence-
pretty much when you first buy a bottle of soda, the space above the liquid is almost pure carbon dioxide. So when you twist it, that hissing sound is the CO2 coming out. If you leave the bottle half full of soda sitting around, the CO2 will seep out much faster because of the lower amount of pressure and the larger amount of space above the liquid. So by crushing the bottle, you in turn decrease the space above the solution and increase the amount of pressure inside the bottle. That does make sense.
Now, Tracy is claiming that she has a complete opposite article claiming that you're...
Conflicting reports?
It's a conflicting report.
Well, also though, because all these things are, it goes back to it's like all or nothing. It probably does.
But
save,
not
not enough.
Barely.
That you couldn't even really like if you had.
That's why I give my
Like
dog
it's better
chocolate.
than not doing it.
Yeah,
but yeah.
yeah, but it's like then you got a weird dented in 2 liter that may not stand up straight because
No, you definitely have to lay it on its side.
And then it's like so all for what to have a tiny bit more carbonation.
One more thing.
and
Just
you're
get
like-
the can.
One
One more thing.
It's like all right.
You guys are gonna. Whose is this?
What?
That's not ours.
No.
It's the
Sorry.
It seems like it hates fat people. So I know who it is.
So, I got to bring this up about 2 liters as well. Better time. There was a time when 2 liters came with a black or red bottom end cap.
Not familiar with that.
The 2 liter had a black piece of plastic that it sat inside of. This is before the 2 liter was one whole piece.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
I remember
this. Is what makes me old Danny Denny, the oldest troll on the show.
It sat in a big black or red cap.
Yeah, there was like a black or red cap, and the 2 liter would fit in it. And if you were a smart enough child, you'd boil water and put that thing in there, and it would loosen the glue, and you could pull it apart. For what reason? I don't know. Just so you could boil water and use fire or something.
Was that just so it was more sturdy?
I think
and
so. It
stand
stood
up.
up.
Yeah,
I think it was for standing up. And then they realized they didn't have to do that by molding the bottom of it. Then it became where the bottom of it like emulated this black cap, and it was all one piece from there on out.
Yeah.
Also, I remember when these little you'd go and you wouldn't get the 16-ounce bottles of like soda. You'd get tiny 12-ounce glass bottles of soda.
Yeah, so I guess the original 2-liter bottles were rounded at the bottom, so they wouldn't stand up on their own, so they gave them that piece of plastic.
Yeah, they had to give them the cap.
Until they started making the weird bumpy.
This is kind of like the giant wheel bicycle to me, because I'm kind of mad that they
penny
didn't.
farthing?
Yeah, the penny farthing argument. I'm like mad that they didn't just mold the plastic into a flat bottom to make it stand
Why
up
do
to
the
be
bumpy thing?
Yeah, like why didn't anybody?
You know why? Because capitalism, they can make less soda and sell it to you for the same price by putting little bumpies in instead of a full flat. Telling you.
Yeah, well,
it's just like the potato chip thing,
but
the potato chip bag.
or like wine, like a carafe of wine. You look in the bottom and there's like a big boob that goes up to the center of it, or a wine bottle.
Yeah.
You know who else does that? Like if you look at the top of baseball players' bats, they're like dug out like a wine carafe.
Yeah, to make them a little bit lighter.
I
or whatever.
guess. I don't know. I've been watching a lot of baseball.
Well, it's like basic economics where if you put one less olive in the jar, you could save 100,000. If you're a big enough company, you know what I'm saying? Like a minuscule change could save you a huge amount because your company's so big. I'm just saying about the 2 liter. Why even make it round? Like it couldn't stand up, so they needed that plastic base to put it in.
Yeah,
it's just like make it flat from the start. like I'm mad that
I never understood why it was never in like a pouch. I never understood why drinks never came in a pouch.
We as Americans don't like pouches.
We're anti-pouches.
Because
Canadians
does
are
carbonation stay in pouches?
Yeah.
Yeah, why wouldn't it? I think you sing, walla walla bang pouch. Walla walla bing bang pouch.
Because remember, they sell in other countries water in pouches.
What would you say? You would say, got it too.
God damn
Would you
it.
walk out on me? E-O-O. What are you doing, man? You're the Joe Cocker of our show. Joe, let's talk about Joe Cocker for a minute. That guy was
Funny last name.
Yeah, but he was like, when he'd be on stage, he'd flip out, right? What would you do if I came at you? Right? That's what it's like. And then people are like, woo, he's got the soul in him. He's got the soul in him, man.
Yeah. But it's like you're doing a weird thing. It's like that's what soul is.
I need help from me. All I need is my blood. He's doing that. People are like, oh my God, he's got the soul. He's feeling the soul. Well, look at him go.
All right, bye-bye.